Okay, let's look at another problem that kind of looks at this idea of more in a more proportional way. This is problem 2. Okay, I'll read it to you. Sarah was very happy to see that her science grade went from a 95%, from a 90 to a 95%. That's not the one I wanted. 90% to 95% over the course of the month. Ted's grade went from a 70 to 74% during that same period. Sarah quipped, "Sorry, Ted, but it looks like I improved more than you did once again." To this, Ted replied, "Sorry, Sarah, but it looks to me like just the opposite is true." Who, if anyone, is the better mathematician? And I'd like you to explain your reasoning. So you can go ahead and pause there, get out your spiral notebooks again, and jot some notes down. Try to explain it as well as you can, and I'll be back. Okay, so once again I am using a table, and I've kind of set my table up here with the same headings: the ending value, the beginning value, we're talking about of the month in this case, and then the growth. So according to this, the way it looks is Sarah grew 5% and Ted grew 4%. Okay, 4 percentage points. 5 percentage points. But of course, not really a trick, but hopefully you looked at it and you applied what you learned from the previous. So with Sarah, we're looking at 5 percentage point growth with a beginning value of 90. So 5 compared to 90, and then with Ted, 4 compared to 70. Okay, 4 compared to 70. Now, if we go ahead and do the math, and if we do the division, and again, a good way to just transfer to division from a ratio here is to put 5 over 90, okay? Use it as a fraction, and then 4 over 70, just so you can look at it. And then we can just see and we can realize that we just divide 5 divided by 90, 4 divided by 70. Doing that math, we find that our 5 divided by 90 gives us a decimal of 0.55, and then continually repeating. Okay, that would be Sarah 5. And we could round that if we know our how to figure out our. I'm sorry, we have to make mistakes here, but yeah, I'm sorry, it's not that makes no sense at all. But 0.055. Okay, go repeating there. Okay, so if we do to find our percentage, we could just go over our two places for our hundredths, and we get 5 point. We could round that to 5.6%. Ted, on the other hand, his was 0.0571, and then on and on and on. So if we go ahead and make a percentage out of his, we know his is about 5.7%. Now, not very radical, but still, in terms of more proportionally, that would be Ted. And I just wanted to use numbers like the 70 and the 74, and just to show you that, I mean, in terms of growth, we often look at percentage growth. Okay, percentage growth is often a much better marker of improvement. Now, surely Sarah was a better student at the beginning of the month and a better student at the end of the month. Well, maybe I shouldn't say better, but she's done something well. She has a higher grade, okay? Maybe she's handed her homework in more often, or studied more, you know. But the fact is, Ted is improving just slightly bit more than she improved slightly more than she did. Okay, let's get that mess off the table there, and I just did that again. So once again, we should remind ourselves that ratios and proportions involve multiplicative rather than additive comparisons. Okay? And one very, very important point down here, we can only make true proportional comparisons when we use multiplication or division. True proportional comparisons. Okay? As in the case of Ted and Sarah, if we looked at it purely as a percentage improvement, percentage points, Sarah was obviously looked like the winner in that sense. But then if we looked at it a little bit more closely, though it was very, very minimal amount, still Ted did. In terms of proportionally, he had actually improved more. Okay. All right, so hopefully this could present you with an opportunity to change your thinking a little bit. Okay? Consider your understanding of more. Oh man, I tell you, I'm going to get this right one day. More forever altered. I want you to start thinking of more in a more complex way. Okay. All right, so with that in mind, I want you to go ahead and take a look at these practice problems, work with them, answering these questions. Situation 1 here, which class team has more girls, which fish tank has more goldfish, and which figure has more circles. So discuss that with your parent-teacher. Argue if you need to. Please write down in your journal if you still don't buy my new conception of more, but I'll be back. Okay, so if we did look in terms of ratios, if we looked at boys to girls on the stars here, we have 3 boys to 2 girls, okay? And then in the comets, we have actually 2 boys to 2 girls, or an actual 1-to-1 ratio, okay, right there. And which one has more? Well, in this case, in both cases, they have 2 girls, okay? But in terms of our new definition, or our new conception of more, the comets would indeed have more. They'd have 50% girls, whereas the stars would have 40%, and we get that by just dividing 2 divided by 5, because that's the total number there. Okay, so yeah, the comets. And actually, if we were to let's look at that a little bit differently, actually, because let's not actually make ratios of boys to girls. Let's go make girls to total and a part to whole. Okay, 2 to 5, and here 2 to 4. Okay, so in this case, if we do 2 to 4, which is 2 to 4, which equals 1 to 2, which is a half, and 2 to 5 is 2 over 5, and if we do the math there, that is 40%. Okay, whereas half is 50%, and we know that 50% is more than 40%. Okay, well, the fish tank, of course, follows the same pattern. Here we have the goldfish are these little ones here. I'm not sure you could tell, but there were 3 goldfish for every 6 fish here in tank A, and here we had 4 goldfish for 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 for every 9 fish. Okay, and we can tell right off the bat, we have 3 is half of 6, but 4 is not half of 9. Therefore, tank A has more goldfish proportionally. Okay. Again, the circles very similar. If you look at it, 1, 2, 3. We have 3, 2, 7, and then 3, 2, 6. And as you can see, 3 to 6 is going to be more. Okay, so figure B. What I want you to do right now is I want you to answer this question. Okay, which of these scenarios? I want you to go, look at both teams of boys and girls, the tanks of fish, and the figures, and I want to say which of these present equivalent ratios. Okay, so go ahead and do that and come back. Okay, and hopefully you did recognize. Here we go. You have figure B, 3 out of 6, which is 1/2, which is 50%. Okay, and then we had up here, we had 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4, which was the same. We got the 50%. And over here we had 3 out of 6 on the fish tanks, also representing 50% as a percentage. So yeah, so we had these scenarios, the comets, tank A, and figure B presented us with equivalent ratios. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so growing dog. Here's just a check for understanding before we finish up. Shelley has 2 dogs, Ollie and Sandy. When she brought them home as puppies, Ollie weighed 4 pounds and Sandy weighed 7 pounds. Now Ollie weighs 8 pounds and Sandy weighs 11 pounds. Now, very specifically thinking proportionally, okay, I want you to answer this question. Did Ollie or Sandy grow more? And I want you to go ahead and do this in your spiral notebook, and I want you to explain your answer as clearly as possible. Okay, I have created a link on the following page, and what I want you to do after you complete it is I want you to submit your answer via a Google form that I created. Okay, so I want you to submit your answer through the link on the following page. All right, so good luck. After you complete this, you just go ahead and take a look at the. I want you to pause it now, so you have all the data. Do the work in your book. Turn it back on, and you will see the link on the next page. Okay, so now after you are done, and you're here, submit your answer section. All you need to do is click on the 2 little doggies there. That is a hot link. If you click on those, you can pause and click on them. Hopefully this works. Well, I'll find out in a minute, but that should take you to this following page. If I click on these little doggies, you'll see this here. If I find out this doesn't work, I will go ahead and send it to you separately. Okay, and just please, put your name right here in this field. An answer here, Ollie or Sandy. Grow more over here, and then explain your thinking in this section here. Okay, then hit submit, and yeah, it'll come to me. All right, thanks. Good luck with that. Hopefully that link works. If it doesn't, I will go ahead and send it to you. Okay.